Welcome to Trayer Wilderness. I see Miss Shelley is on here. Lovely ceiling lol. Uh-oh. Good morning, Miss Deb says the weather may be affecting tech issues. So it was the ceiling shot, huh? It didn't upload my nice cover image. Cute. That's why I keep my face out of it when I'm trying to do that kind of stuff. So how are you guys doing this morning? Yes, our weather is really bizarre. We went from 90 degrees to rainy and cloudy and cold. It is really cold. Like the big dog, Mrs. Copperhead, is wanting to be close to the fire this morning. She was hiding behind the wood stove, and we don't have a fire lit yet. We will soon.
Cold.
What did I say?
You said it's really, really cold. It's not that cold.
It's cold.
It's not cold.
If I stuck my hands on your neck right now, you'd go, what did you do that for?
Well, yeah, why would you do that in the first place?
Because I could show you.
But it's not that cold. You might be cold, but it's not that cold.
It's damp and raw. And these guys would be cold. I know it. Good morning, Miss Tammy. Yes, and Tammy has snow. See what I'm saying? Melissa says it's afternoon here. Good day, good morning, good evening, everyone. Right, exactly. And Miss Carol is not present at the moment. She is enjoying a birthday dinner out with her children. Her Niley is 22 today, so they are celebrating. So she told me and asked me to please send you guys all her love, and hopefully she'll be able to join us when they return. So I wanted to make sure I shared that. So Deb says, I'm at work, of course, listening. Well, I am glad you are here. And Miss Deb says, good morning, Glenn. She says, it's cold here in Omak with wind. Glad no snow. See, she said it's cold. He's brainiacking today. He's working on a bid this morning. So he's deep in thought. He's MacGyvering mentally.
Hi, everybody.
He's MacGyver. Oh.
You dribble on this, I'll wallop you.
It's going to be a weird one today. I can feel this already. It's
going to be a weird one today. I can feel this already.
I got to mute this. Hang on. I had to do this. Okay, I have a question for you guys. When I'm scrolling through the comments and I'm reading what people are saying, do you guys hear a clicking sound on your end? I didn't get a chance to go back and listen, but someone mentioned to me that that's what they hear. And I was really surprised because I've been doing this for so long and nobody has said anything. So I was curious if that is the case. And if so, that's why I have my iPad on this morning so that I can do things on the iPad versus on the machine that I'm working live from. So your feedback would be great because I was totally surprised to hear that. Because I certainly don't want to be annoying the snot out of everybody while I'm trying to share information. So, and this works out good. On my iPad, it actually has the live chat right down the side. So I don't even have to swipe, but I do have to keep up with it. So I am challenging the brain today, and I have the two pieces of equipment here side by side. So I'm going to see if I can do this. It's funny, there's such a delay. So I'm live on one and then it's showing later on the other. All right, so let's see here. Shelley says, where does Deb? I got to jump back here a little bit. Shelley says it was cold this morning, but supposed to get to 22 Celsius today. And what is that in Fahrenheit, Shelley? My brain doesn't compute that fast.
22 would be like.
He's thinking.
40, I think it's 40 something. I think.
Melissa says nice in Michigan is a little overcast, but not bad. Well, we went from like 90 degrees to 40 and overnight. It was pretty crazy. I was going to say 2.3 seconds, but pretty close. Tammy says I have sometimes, but didn't used to. Melissa says no, it usually sounds like a shuffling to me, but it isn't distracting to me. Okay. All right, well, good to know. So, yes, loud when your finger hits the screen, just lately, though. Interesting. Okay, so thank you guys. If you guys...
Probably if you're going...
Well, I am. I'm touching the screen.
Yeah, but I mean, cause when you do stuff, you like tap the screen.
That's because I got dead fingers.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, and you know what? That's probably why it's more now, because my hands are like so dry. And when I go to touch my iPad or my phone, I've got to make an effort. Like, I have a new screen or case on mine, and it is insane. It's all scratched up already. So it's my finger. So that makes sense. Okay. So we've established that then. Melissa says 75 here. Now that is like the perfect temperature all year round. 75 degrees, 70. Oh, that's too warm for you. 69, 70. That's a good temperature, I think. I think anyway.
Yeah,
So
65.
yeah, he don't like the heat.
65 to 70 would be okay.
I've got the peanut gallery today. So he's going to be easily pulled into this because he doesn't like doing what he's doing right now. Plus, he's got help. This is funny. He's got help. We call her Rain Cloud. When she gets a drink, she comes over to you, and her jowls are still holding water. So then she gets excited, and it all ends up on your. Oh, are you measuring her?
Here. How big that snout? How big's your snout? Huh? How big's your snout?
This is the kind of morning we had today. That's why I said today's going to be a little bit of a crazy one. We kind of treated ourselves this morning to sleeping in a lot. Our alarm usually goes off at 6:30, and we crawled out of bed this morning at about 9. Not normal at all, but it felt good, and we were very slow moving this morning. Melissa says, Tammy, try avocado oil. I just started using that on my face, and it's so good. I definitely have to do that, but my only struggle is when I have to do it at night, because what I'm doing during the day, my computer and my iPad and my phone all end up greasy. So not that that's not wipeable or anything, but I try to be cautious with that too. But yeah, I will definitely give that a try. I've tried so many different things. I do have a lotion by Aveda that works really good, and also by Beauty Counter. Today we were going to talk about things that you can use in your hair and on your face, but I decided I'm going to do something a little different. What I would like to do is do a new series, and it's going to be called Beauty from the Inside Out and from the Outside In. So I'm going to work on that because there's a lot of components to it, a lot of different areas. And this isn't just for women. It's going to be for men and women, because there's a lot of things we can do to protect our bodies and also radiate God at the same time. Hence the inside and out and outside and in of beauty, because beauty is just that. It's inside and out. But protecting our bodies from all the toxins of the world is really important today. So like I said, there's so many components to it. I knew it would be a tough one to tackle live. It would be pretty much a series that we're going to do. So I'm either going to do it here, or I'm just going to create a class in our academy that is free that you guys can go and enjoy. I'm working on that. God was dumping really amazing ideas this morning right before I went live. That's why I was a little late, because I was heeding his advice and his input, because it was pretty amazing. I'm also working on a hardcover gratitude and prayer journal that I will be producing here in actually the next couple weeks. So I will keep you posted on that. I'm going to try to set a date for the release on that, which I'll be able to get a better handle on next week. So I will keep you posted on that, because that plays a role too in our well-being and in our in beauty in itself, in that we keep ourselves in a good place, and that affects us all the way through and all the way through our days, as many of you have been learning as you're journaling and focusing on your gratitude. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I will keep you posted on that. Let me see here. Deb says, same here. Dry thumbs and fingers affect my swipe. Swift keyboard and autocorrect gets creative. Yes, exactly. I never even gave that any thought of what that sounds like when I'm live. So I will switch things up here. It's just weird though, because now I'm like, maybe what I can do is put this, and actually that's a good idea. I'm just going to stick this here, and that way I can see the comments behind because I'm like looking away. This is new, so just bear with me. Today's going to be an interesting one. Shelly says, I'm at work also, Deb, but the little lady is sleeping right now. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you guys can squeeze this in. I'm getting so many comments on our YouTube channel, and we've had so many people joining our community, which I think is a part of my podcast, because I've been really hyping the community. And I'll tell you what, you guys all bring so much uniqueness to the table. For example, Keith from New Zealand left a post yesterday, and I should have copied and pasted it so that I could share it with you guys while I'm on here, because that man always is sharing such insightful and useful information. But yesterday he shared a bit about what he's done in life, and I'll tell you what, very fascinating, very, very fascinating. So I love that he shares his information. I love that all of you share your information, because we all have something to bring to the table, which is important, that we're willing to share those things. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful for the interaction on our channel and in our community, because I really think that's priceless. When you have a community that is willing to share and to share themselves transparently, so many of you do, and that is huge. That's what we're called to be, is to be disciples and to walk the walk and talk the talk. And when we are willing to share our stories, good, bad, and ugly, it really is impactful. Like I said, today's going to be an interesting one. Are you going to do it again? I'm telling you, my world is just crazy. Look how she sits. She sits on her bum and her legs are actually off the ground. Is that not the funniest thing? She's going to fall. The wash basket's in her way. She's going to fall asleep against the door.
Why don't you just go lay down on your bed?
All right, I'm sorry for all the diversions here, but that was funny. He's cueing in on my commentary here. So let me see. Good morning, Miss Laura. She is joining us, and everybody's saying hello to one another. I love it. Melissa says, that's how I found you, Tammy, on a podcast app about 1.5 years ago. Oh, that's fabulous. I'm so glad. And my podcast is just traveling. You know, I'm on iTunes. I am on TuneIn Radio and iHeartRadio. I'm on so many different areas automatically, but I've been noticing how I'm just spreading. I'm on so many of the podcast apps, and that just is amazing. I'm trying to get onto Spotify, and the more people we can reach, you know, the more we build on our community and really help one another. So I'm very grateful for that, and I'm so grateful that so many are finding me that way. And I love being able to share it. God inspired me to do that last year, to start doing videos and then turning that into my podcast and taking you guys out and about and sharing, you know, my scenery with you guys. And just God has been leading me for the last 6 years very heavily on what I share, what I talk about, and how I do things. And, you know, I'm really grateful that I have that relationship with him, and that I'm that in tune with his guidance, because man, when he starts giving me ideas, they just flow. And I absolutely love that. I love taking it all in and being able to really stretch out and be diverse. I'm actually on there, Melissa. Melissa says Clubhouse is a pretty neat app as well for audio talks. I am on there, and I am preparing to create a channel on there as well. I've been invited to communicate with a whole bunch of different people, but it was all transpiring while my in-laws were here. And it's crazy. I watch the people on Clubhouse and they're like on there chatting all day long. I just don't have that kind of time. Like if I would jump on there every time somebody invited me to chat, which I'm very humbled and I really appreciate it, but I'd be on there all day long. So that's also something new. So I gotta figure it out a little bit. Oh, very cool. Melissa says, yes, I followed you. That'll be fun. Well, I'll give it a try then. That's good to know that there are people and our people are on there. So that's something I have on the to-do list for upcoming. But it was just crazy how it was really like skyrocketing while my in-laws were here. And I just wanted to be able to spend as much time as I could with them. So I'm going to have to step into it. So let me see here. I saw Laura say, I'm making carbolose bread now. Okay, you'll have to tell us what that is. I've never heard of that before. It is cold. My nose is running. But how are you guys today? I also wanted to share with you some important prayer requests. Right now, I'd really like to request prayer for Bobbi. This is MrsHomesteader's, Kelle's ex-daughter-in-law. She's really in a really poor place. It's a really sad shame. It is a perfect example of our system just going so totally wrong. And what was right is now wrong, and what's wrong is now right. It's just so very sad. She needs prayers that the enemy is kicked aside and that truth is brought forward and that right is done. It's just very, very sad. So please pray for her. She really needs lifting. She really needs support and loving, and she really needs this situation she's been in for the last 19 months to break. It's very, very sad. Also, if you could please pray for Dianna and Craig. Craig had open heart surgery this week. He was supposed to be in ICU for 48 hours. He was only in there not even 24, I believe. And he is just progressing super well, up and walking. Dianna said that he walked 480 feet and all of the tubes are being removed and he should be going home tomorrow. So that is just such huge progress, and that's a huge praise. But if you could please continue to pray for him and Dianna, both for healing and just strength and endurance through this walk. This was all sudden. He had gone in for a stent and they found that he was blocked tremendously and was flighted out to another hospital to get quick surgery. So pretty awesome. That was definitely a God thing. And please pray for Tammy. Tammy had surgery this week and is on the mend. So just pray for her for strength and healing and no pain. And Miss Toyka could also use prayers for healing. And our friend Dianna and her daughters, or Diane and her daughters, she lost her husband last weekend. So I'd just like to keep lifting them in prayer. It was very sudden and unexpected. And just continue to pray for my friend Pat Kenny. He's having a fabulous time out here. We got to enjoy salmon and steelhead. We were invited for dinner the other night, and it was just amazing. They're here visiting, and when he's out of the city and in the woods, he just feels so refreshed, and I'm so grateful. I'm sure that all the toxins and the EMFs play a role in that too, but he's getting such good rest and just really having a good time out here. So I'm very thankful for that. And if you could also pray for Carol's daughter, Mariko, just for continued healing. She just continues, her immune system just sounds like it's so taxed. She's had a lot of different infections and they just continue to dump pain meds and antibiotics in her. So if you could just help me pray for that, I would so greatly appreciate it. And also continue to pray for Deb and Melissa, and pray for Kelle and Mike and Courtney as they walk things out with Bobbi as well. And if you guys, if others have prayer requests, please leave them. If you're watching the replay, leave them in the comments. This community thrives on being able to support and love others and be there for one another. So please share your prayer request. If it's personal and you don't feel like sharing the details, just say unspoken. That's all we need to hear, is that you have unspoken prayers. We will be happy to lift you and to love on you. And that's what this is all about, is just inspiring, encouraging, and supporting one another. So let me see here. Okay, so carbolose flour is for low carb foods. Huh, I'm gonna have to check it out. I never heard of that before. Shelly asked Tammy how she's feeling, and Tammy says, Shelly, I'm okay. Hard to stay down. Pain is a little more, but still quite manageable. Yes, it is hard to stay down, isn't it? When we are in positions where we are forced to rest and be well, it's hard to do that. It's hard to detach from all those things we see and all those things that are calling us that we feel need to get done. But I just want to encourage you guys to rest when you need rest, and to take that break and to allow God to renew your body and your mind and your spirit, as well as you know, you need that for the healing process. I also know Tammy will agree that she's been you know, pretty tired and has been taking advantage of that tiredness and resting. So I'm glad for that, because when our bodies are tired like that, it is our body telling us that that's what it needs to heal. So it's very hard when we are in those places and we need rest. We won't take that time, and it's hard to listen to that, right? I know that Tammy is not the only one. I do struggle with that too, but I've learned to rest in that place. But it is a process of learning to rest in it. Shelly says, glad to hear that, but try to rest as much as you can. See? Yes, exactly. Exactly. So what kind of praises do you guys have? I know Miss Shelley had a good praise, and I forgot to mention that the other day, but she had the opportunity to visit with her granddaughter over the weekend and actually got to hold her for the first time with all this crazy stuff going on. She actually got to hold her grandbaby, which I'm sure was a complete blessing. I can't even imagine. So I'm real thankful for that. It's just fun to see you guys being blessed and what God is doing in each of your lives, and how you guys are traversing the ups and downs, and just the things you share. I'm grateful that you guys are willing to share that. Also, another prayer request that popped in my mind is, I don't know if I said it, but Melissa, just with continued healing and the people in her life. But God is good. God is doing so many amazing things and really taking us to amazing places despite all the chaos in our world. And that's the key thing, is focusing on our gratitude, the positive things in our life, our praises, and so forth. I wanted to mention also to you guys today a bunch of things that are available to you. I know there was another one, and I'm I'm having a blank right now as to what it was. Totally zoning out on that one. But Butcher Box is a organization that sells grass-fed meats, and we tried them out a while back. And when we have the opportunity, we do purchase from them. They offer pork, beef, seafood. When we had signed up with them and got our first couple boxes with them, it was bacon for life. So you get bacon with your order every time. And I'll tell you what, for us, you guys know how much we like bacon. So that was a real plus. But right now, for signing up and getting a package through them, there are a tremendous amount of bonuses. And I'll see if I can pull that up right now and share that with you. Everything that's involved. And of course, some things are seasonal. Some of the seafood is seasonal, but the meats from them are really wonderful. And again, those of you that are out of the country or in Canada, I don't know what the shipping will be on this and how they do that. So I don't know if it'll be beneficial to you guys, but for those of you in the States, if you're looking for wholesome meats, you don't have access to wholesome meats, this is an option. Okay, so right now it is barbecue season, and what they are offering is, with the free grass-fed beef and the free organic chicken, when you sign up today through us, you get 2 New York strip steaks, 6 burgers, and 5 pounds of drumsticks for free with your first box. So it's worth the effort to give it a try and see if that's something that you guys are interested in, especially those of you that, it's just one or two of you. It makes it a great way to get wholesome meats. They're not expensive, and the portion sizes are pretty decent as well. So, because that's one thing we found, we were asked to try a couple other different programs, and in trying them, the mountain man always laughs because the portion size is like for a Lilliputian compared to the way he eats. He'd need 4 of their portion sizes to actually get a meal. But this was one thing that we found that was very worth the money. Yes, we have. We've gotten from them several times. So I wanted to try it to see, because it's hard to find stuff that is organic, grass-fed, non-GMO. A lot of the time with these box sets and these box offers, it's not always what we would eat. Let's put it that way. But we were really impressed with what they offered. So I wanted to put that out there today because I knew they had the barbecue set going on, but I couldn't remember what was in it. So that is something you guys can give a try if you're interested. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong. Let me get back here. So it's not clickety clicking. Let me see here. Okay. Laura has a praise report. I'm up and moving on a rainy day. Sun is coming out now. Everything is turning green. Awesome. So usually on a rainy day, I imagine you're pretty sore. I have a good praise too, because you saying that makes me think about it. I was so incredibly sore all over from head to toe last week, most of the day, and I wasn't sure what it was coming from. And this week I am finally starting to feel like my body is getting back to where it needs to be, and I don't have the pain I was having. So I'm super excited about that too. And I know that Laura has been dealing with a lot of pain, so I am praising God on that one. Hey, In the Kitchen with Rob is in the house. Good morning. It's been a while. How have you been, Rob? What do you have going on, and what kind of praises do you have? Deb says, praise. I finished my huge horse photos job late last night and early this morning. Sent a total of 60 plus photos of the 4 horses that I put my signature on, and photoshopped any unneeded distractions. That's very awesome. Did that feel good? Didn't that feel good? Awesome, awesome, awesome. And do you feel like that's something you're going to be transitioning into, or that was just a once and done, Miss Deb? Melissa says, praise. I've mostly gotten over the extreme allergy and throat problem I was having. Wild choke cherry helped. Awesome. Were you taking that in a tincture or tea? How are you doing that, Miss Melissa? And that's a huge praise. Awesome. And then Deb had said, have you ordered from Butcher Box? Yes, we have. And I was pleased with it. So like I said to you guys, I don't share stuff that we don't feel is worth the money. Like there's many other box food sets. Some come with all the stuff you need to make a meal. But I have to imagine most of us homesteaders eat the same way, in that we're working hard, and the portion size is just never, it's not a good investment for us, because we end up making and having to throw in a whole lot more to make it a meal. And for us also, I would rather get meats or fresh vegetables and be able to make my own thing and get good quantity versus these small portion sizes. So the other thing that you guys might want to check out is Bountiful Baskets. It's bountifulbaskets.org, and it depends if there's a setup in your area or not. We are fortunate to have one here. I haven't purchased from it in quite some time, but it's a wonderful thing. We use it more in the winter months when we can't get produce, but it's basically produce and fruits and vegetables. It's like $30 a box, and you get a huge box full of items. So it's always been really a good investment for us as well, and helpful. So check that out. Let me see here. Laura says, prayer request. Our 15-year-old lab is crossing the fur baby rainbow this afternoon. Please pray for a quick and easy transfer. And for my hubby, this is really tearing him up. Ah, absolutely. We can understand that. Our fur babies are our part of our family, our kids. So, you know, they pull on heartstrings just as if they were a human family. So absolutely, we will be praying. Thank you for sharing that. So we'll be praying for you all. And sorry to hear that. Shelley says, great, Deb, to get that photo project done, a step closer to a possible other income source once these ones have been shared. So yes, I agree. I agree. And Laura says, awesome, Deb. Good job, girl. Shelley says, it's always hard to lose a fur baby, Laura. I will definitely be praying for you both. And Melissa says, yes, my friend sent me wild cherry bark through a pure herb place in my state. It's a liquid and did amazing. Hallelujah. Awesome. 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 Fantastic. Deb's sending up prayers for Laura. Shelley says, boy, Tammy is going to be a while catching up on all our messages when she gets on here. Yeah, really. I hope she can join us. And Laura says, praises for our 12 new chicks that just hatched. Oh, very awesome. Very, very awesome. And Deb says, yes, so excited to have it done and enjoyed every bit of it. Passing the word around. Those folks will definitely be having me again and letting others know, considering how I can do more photos. That's very cool. So we will consider that too and keep that in mind when we know people are looking for a photographer. And you don't just do... Here, give yourself a little bit of space here to advertise what you do, because you also have traveled to other states, correct? So you do photos of not just animals, but families and people and projects and so forth, correct, Deb? Which reminds me, I want to challenge you guys a little bit. Next Wednesday at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, in our community only. So if you are not part of our community, Rob, I don't know if you are part of our community or not, but we would love, love, love to have you join us. So if you're not part of it, go to trayerwilderness.com/community. And that goes for any of you out there that are watching this or the replay. If you're not part of our community, you are absolutely welcome. It is free, trayerwilderness.com/community. I'm going to do a Zoom on Wednesday morning. The access and information will be shared in our community, and I might shoot out a newsletter to those in the community just as a reminder. But the purpose of this is so that we can all go face to face. I did it on YouTube here. I fed it to YouTube, but I really think that because you're part of the community, I want it to be a personal thing. I want it to be something that is accessible to our community. And again, not that anybody is being excluded. You're all welcome. Just join us in the community. I don't want to feed it onto YouTube. I want this to be a personal setting, private setting, more or less just for us. And that way we can go face to face and get to see each other. I can see... You guys can all see me. I can't see you. So it gives me the opportunity to put faces with names and so forth. So we're going to do that next Wednesday, the 26th at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time in our community. So join us. So now the homework for that is this. I want you guys to come into that and share about yourself. There is a chat. And you can also feel free to share it, you know, vocally. But I want you guys to introduce yourselves. And I want it to be as if you are in the elevator with someone and you're sharing all you have to offer. So basically your elevator pitch. Some of you may know what that is. Some of you may not. But basically, put it this way. If I were to be out somewhere with you, and we met somebody, one of my friends, and I introduced you, what would you want me to say? So share all there is to know about you. You know, share your story, share what you've done in your life, share what you are currently doing, share what you enjoy doing, your hobbies and so forth. So I'm giving you guys that challenge. So you have a couple days to kind of, and you may gladly write it and read it. You can gladly just cut and paste it and put it in the chat if you're uncomfortable sharing it vocally. But I want you guys to share about yourselves. So that way I'm not putting you on the spot. So you guys can think about it and be creative and share your story. Deb says, yes. Okay, I read that one already. Pray for Sterling getting his graduation photos done ASAP to get announcements done. Awesome, we will do that. So excited for him. And Deb says, yes, I've done many events, animals, kids, families, weddings, horse shows, rodeos, monster truck events, a variety of experiences. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And she says, I even took our own engagement photos 22 years ago. They were so fun and creative. Oh, that's pretty cool. That is way cool. I imagine you had to use a timer on that. That's pretty awesome. Melissa says, prayers for my children and I for peace, and I'm halfway through a discipleship class to complete it. Hedge of protection. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, something you said there, Melissa, really triggered a thought for me. You know, the hedge of protection. I really feel like we should be praying that every day for ourselves and our families, because I think it was Monday here. It just felt really was it Monday or Tuesday? It might have been Tuesday. I'm not sure, but it felt really heavy here, like just a weird feeling, and we both felt it. So it was something that we just paused and prayed and sent the enemy packing, because it was definitely a moment where it felt like the enemy was just kind of trying to seep in, trying to dishevel us both. And, you know, it was just a weird, heavy feeling. And I know you guys experience those things too. May not associate it with that, but there's a lot of spiritual warfare in our world right now. So, you know, pray over yourselves, pray over your family, pray over your home, even pray over your property, but protect yourselves, because God's word and his promises are there for us. And that is something that we have, is his protection. So definitely consider that in your prayers, in your daily prayers. Let me see here. Deb says, yes, camera with timer on tripod and run fast. Yes, I know, exactly. We have, you know, the best part of doing those kind of photo shoots, because we've done that here for different holiday photos and just different things we're working on. And some of the shots, because of tripping over things or dogs in the way or dogs doing something odd while the photo's going off, oh my goodness, we have so many fun photos from those moments. Sometimes the fun photos are better than the ones that turned out, you know, the way you wanted them to. So that's pretty funny. That's cool though. That's way cool. So I want to read some things to you guys today that I thought were very timely. Also, man, my fingers really are dead. I couldn't get the screen to move. Down below are a whole bunch of other links. The lymphatic summit is over, but there's still access to information there. The truth about cancer is down there. The mold summit, which is going on. Mold is something that is really deadly, and people don't realize it. Some people are okay with mold, but a good majority of people in our world struggle with not breaking down mold well, and therefore it causes our systems great havoc, which is why I have so many problems. I don't break it down at all, nor do I break down metals, so I've got to force those things out of my system, and it's a challenge. So when you are around black mold, it can really start wreaking havoc on your system, and it will wreak havoc in ways that you wouldn't ever associate it with mold. It really affects multiple systems in our bodies. So be very careful of that, and being educated on that is really important. So definitely check that out. Also, Seeds for Generations is a great website to check out regularly for their specials and their sales. And you can always use our link, TrayerWilderness.com/SFG for Seeds for Generations. And the Homestead Open House that I participated in is also still accessible. It was a couple months back, but they have decided to keep it accessible and available to people. And there was a lot of information in that. So you can find that by going to TrayerWilderness.com/Homestead Open House. Retraining the brain is also a very important one. You hear me mentioning that a lot, and I really want to encourage you guys to check that out because it is extremely useful for those of you that are dealing with anything autoimmune, pain, PTSD. It's an amazing way to get our health back. And, you know, people don't give our brain and our bodies enough credit and ourselves enough credit as to how we have the ability to heal ourselves. Also, the clothespins that I showed you a couple weeks ago are linked down there as well. And then you'll find a multitude of links for different books, as well as the different programs I use to stay organized, and also the varying Bibles and movies that are listed down below there too. And don't forget about the amber necklaces. That is Amber SOS, TrayerWilderness.com/Amber SOS. This is the only company I've found that has necklaces for adults. Most of the time they're for teething babies, so they're very tiny. So it's like a choker on an adult, and I don't like stuff tight against my neck. But these are fabulous for healing, keeping the lymphatic system open. I absolutely love this. Her customer service is tremendous. She makes these, and when you go to her Etsy store or to her website, if you use coupon code TRAYERWilderness, you will get a discount. And she's super, super nice. So definitely check those out. Yes, Tammy says, highly recommend Amber SOS. I know she and a bunch of her family members are wearing them. And Dianna got them also, I know, and are really getting good results with them. Amber is an amazing healing resin. It's basically what this is. This is a resin from a pine tree, but it is so therapeutic and healing. This helps with pain, hence why the teething babies have bracelets and necklaces. Really helps with the pain, but also is just very comforting. So check it out. Some people do have reactions to it. So I've heard of 2 people that have had reactions, one of which was the mountain boy. But definitely check these out. She also has bracelets and anklets and all kinds of different pieces. I wasn't looking for anything fancy. You know me and my rustic ways. I like these. I like them a lot. So definitely check them out and let her know that we sent you. She's just fabulous. Also, creating balanced health is down below. And I really want to encourage you guys, as we talked about on Tuesday, is to really take control of our own health. I can't say that enough. And if you're wanting to know, just do like a overall check on how your body's doing, or if you're trying to pinpoint what might be giving you trouble, creating balanced health is a hair analysis. They do hair analysis and saliva analysis, and they are fabulous. I've done it through them. Austin has done it through them. And I know a couple other people that have used their services and are so very pleased. And a lot of our audience members have used it and have been thriving. So I just want to encourage you guys to check it out. It's creatingbalancedhealth.com. And again, you can use coupon code TRAYERWilderness. They will take care of you. Okay, so let me see here. I saw a couple questions, so let me answer those quick. Woohoo. Melissa says, can't wait to get one. Deb says, thanks again for these reminders of the Amber SOS. And Laura says, I'm thinking SOS Amber for Christmas gifts. Love my necklace and bracelet. Quick shipping. Yeah, they're great. Awesome. I'm glad you partook too. Yes, they're a great gift. I've actually gifted quite a few of them too. And Deb says, would these help with arthritis in my hands if I wear a bracelet and neck pain, one around my neck? Yeah, definitely. I think you will definitely feel a difference. Something else you can do with arthritis is frankincense oil. I was taking garlic and cinnamon to try to help with this infection that I was having problems with as I was getting the mold out of my system. And it, I forget what the acid is. Is it uric acid in the system that causes gout? But it also caused, and gout is a form of arthritis. But what was really strange is when I was taking that, I got lumps on my fingers up here, which is, it's kind of family, in my family. My mom's hands are that way. But I started putting frankincense oil on that. I also stopped taking the cinnamon and the garlic because it was creating too much acid in my system. But when I put the frankincense oil on that, it actually removed the inflammation and the lumps are almost gone. So if you have specific areas in your body that you are experiencing the arthritis, frankincense essential oil is a really good thing that you can put on there and you will see results. Frankincense helps with the inflammation also, but the amber will also help with inflammation and in your neck. Neck pain a lot of times is a result of inflammation due to the lymphatic system. It can also be muscular and so forth as well. But a lot of times it's the lymphatic drainage that's blocking in there or is blocked and is creating havoc. So these necklaces are really, really helpful. So yeah, Deb, I think you'd see good results there. Okay, so wow, my fingers are just so bad. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, don't go nowhere. Okay. So this is called Stand Firm. Let nothing move you. Your labor is not in vain. 1 Corinthians 15:58. One of the most prevalent themes in the Bible is perseverance. You guys hear me talk about that a lot in regard to James, because I love James. The Apostle Paul writes, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Again, he writes, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. I like writing these down because they all are regarding perseverance. And then James adds, blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. And that's James 1:12. The dividing line between winning and losing isn't talent, it's tenacity. Being tenacious means this: 1, giving it everything you have, not more than you have. Some people inaccurately believe that being tenacious demands more than they have to offer. As a result, they get discouraged and stop pushing themselves. But being tenacious means giving 100%, not more and certainly not less. And 2, is working with determination instead of waiting on destiny. Persistent people don't rely on luck, fate, or destiny for their success. They recognize that trying times aren't the times to quit trying. Really like that. Trying times aren't the times to quit trying. 3, quitting when the job is finished, not when you're tired. To succeed, you often have to push beyond what you think you can do. Remember, victory isn't determined until the last step in the race has been run. So draw on God's grace, refuse to give up, and keep going until you cross the finish line and win the prize. And that's in anything you do, guys. So important. And I just want to encourage that right now, because it's really easy to be discouraged in a lot that's happening. You know, the Mountain Man and I were watching some YouTubes yesterday, and there's quite a few young people, I mean young, like elementary school, some in high school, that are really starting to stand up to what is happening in our country. And I think it's more powerful than any adult could be, because these kids are seeing the forest through the trees. They are seeing the hypocrisy that is being spoken, where they're asked to do one thing and the rest of the world isn't complying. So for example, the one we watched was an elementary school student who has been getting screamed at for, taking his mask down to take a drink, or having his mask not in place. And then the teacher that's screaming at him has the mask down while they're screaming at them. These kids are seeing the hardcore hypocrisy in a lot of what's happening. And it's not just with the mask, it's with so much. And they see how it's good for the goose but not good for the gander kind of stuff going on. And it's really empowering to see these kids speaking up, and they're not speaking up in violent, vicious ways. This one elementary school kid went to the school board and expressed his concerns and his fears and how scary it is. And it's pretty empowering to see that. And the thing is, with everything that's going on in our society, it's really easy to want to just crawl in a hole and quit, and to hide, and to just be saddened by it all. But we've got lots of opportunities to thrive through this. We've got lots of opportunities to be a light in the dark, and just there's just so many things we can do. And I just want to encourage you guys to use this time to be that light, to be the light and the salt, and to not quit, to keep persevering, and to keep doing what you aspire to do, whatever that may be, whether it's, speaking up in a situation, or whether it's attaining one of your own dreams. Just don't allow our current times to stifle the good you have in you and the good opportunities that might be right in front of you, even though things are as wonky and strange as they are. The United States may never be the same, but we could still make it a good place. And we've got to thrive on that and really try. So don't give up. The other one is walk, don't run. And actually, I saw a bunch of comments there, so I'm going to go back so that I can answer those or see what they are quick before I go on. Okay, let me see here. Laura says, I wear my amber bracelet during the day, but need to take it off overnight or it hurts. Different pain. Yes, I have osteo and RA. Okay. Well, and that's good. What's good about that is that you're in tune with your body. So you know when you need it and when you don't. And that's really, really important. If we start getting really in tune with ourselves in that depth, and also that in tune with God will lead you to what you need to do next. But being in tune is really important. And that's awesome. That's really awesome, Laura. Melissa says, this is a side note, but in Living Wellness is back. Laura, I've recognized you from there. I watched a lot when I was first navigating the mold issue. Okay, I know what you're saying. So that was the link you shared this week, which I will be also sharing more of upcoming. So awesome, yes. And really good speakers in that arena. Melissa says Street Ministries 7 is a good YouTube that has young people on fire doing street ministry. Awesome. We'll have to check it out. Thank you for sharing that. Tammy says the small school district by us just made mass optional in the district. That's awesome. That's really awesome, because this young kid was trying to make them optional also, because he said he just feels so overwhelmed wearing it, and he doesn't feel well, and he can't breathe right. And he said his teacher gets, mask-free breaks, but she's in the same room with everybody else. And, she has asthma, but there's so many other kids that are affected by this that it should be, it should be optional. And I'm excited to see these kids speaking up. Deb says, so double-minded and two-faced around here regarding the mask stupidity. Yeah, and it's just, there's so much of it, though. It's not just masks. It's so many different arenas. So many different arenas that nothing makes sense. And for these kids to see that, they're wanting them to be fed and led. And these kids are smart enough, even in elementary school, to see through it all. So it's really powerful to see them speaking up. If that would have been my child, I would have been so proud just that they were willing in a time like this to speak up, because so many people are just going with the flow and not saying anything. So I'm real excited about that. Thank you, Tammy. What you said brought tears of joy to my eyes. Well, awesome. I'm glad. God God is working. God guides me and leads me. He knows who needs to hear what, and it always is amazing for me to see when he guides me to certain messages, the need for it. So I'm praising God for that. Awesome. Deb says, working here at the school has been frustrating and we'll be glad to see break over summer, June 9th. It's not coming fast enough, right? I know. And Laura says, awesome, Melissa, hugs. Yes, and she's a Christian now. I must have missed something there. I might have missed something there. So what's awesome is there's great praises there that someone has become a Christian. So that is always a huge praise. Shelly says, yay, Deb, another year done. I know. Well, it's so crazy. It's gone so fast. And, you know, through this scenario, a lot of people have gotten a different look at homeschooling and the importance of homeschooling to enable us to control what our children learn and what and the environment they're in and the wholesomeness of it, because the school, you know, education is important, but I wouldn't consider what's going on in our schools anymore education. It's a political agenda and it's a mess. So there's a lot of people that used to be against homeschooling that now are very for it. You know, homeschooling was something for a long time that was really being fought against. And I was really hoping that through all this, that things would turn to homeschooling so much more. I mean, you're going to have those kids that's just not an option, but I don't know. I just, things need to change, and we are the only way they're going to change. So let me see here. Deb says yes. And what about, I know that part, that's what's been in the back of my mind as we're talking on this. She says, let me see. I had to switch screens. Deb says yes. And what about the sexual identity issues? He, him, she, her, and now they, them, who don't want to identify as either, going on in teens a lot, and even more of our teachers praying big time. Yeah, I know. And we've talked about that before. You know, I don't support the LGBTQ whatsoever. I just don't support it at all. It's wrong. Biblically, it is wrong. I do love the person, but I don't love the sin. And it's twisted and messed up. And, you know, kids at 18, when they graduate from high school, 17, 18, they don't even know at that point in time what they want to be as an adult, let alone at elementary level, being told that it's okay to become a boy when you're a girl or vice versa. And these parents that are getting involved in the sex change operations and all that, I mean, they're just destroying their children. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. And a lot of that too is peer pressure, because and teacher pressure and society pressure, wanting to shove that down everybody's throat. And I just think it's wrong. You know, to each his own. I get that. I respect that. It doesn't mean I have to agree with it. It doesn't mean that I have to support it. There's no way I will ever support that. But like I said, you know, I love the person, but I do not support their sin, and it is a sin. And what's happening in our schools is just a disgusting sin. It's terrible. It's terrible to see what's happening in that regard. Yeah, I mean, that's always in the back of my mind. And yes, Deb, I am praying wholeheartedly too. It's just it's so disturbing to see. And like I shared before, one of the Bible studies we did is Erwin Lutzer's book, We Will Not Be Silenced. It's a very heavy read because we're reading about things that are currently happening. So it is very heavy in a depressing way. But at the same time, it's very enlightening and really important that we know what's going on behind the scenes. So if you haven't read the book, I highly encourage you to read TrayerWilderness.com/We Will Not Be Silenced. It's really eye-opening. Shelley says masks, well, not sure when they will be lifted up here in Canada. They still have health regions and provinces as no-go zones. You're not to leave one to go to another unless essential. Yeah, and I don't know, Carol's not on here, but and New Zealand and the UK were in that boat too, where they couldn't leave small towns and so forth. So just crazy. Deb says, so grateful Sterling decided to come back to the homeschooling, especially to graduate and not to be identified by a school district in their agenda. Yeah, and I'm just so grateful that we chose to homeschool Austin when we did. I always wanted to, but as a single parent way back when, and then just being a self-employed mom, I was always afraid I would cut him short with his education. So I'm really glad we did what we did when we did it, because it's just crazy. You know, I thought I knew what was going on, but as we read We Will Not Be Silenced, I was just shocked at the depth of things and how things have changed, even just in the last 11 years. It's alarming. It's scary. I'm just so grateful I don't have any kids in the schools anymore. But my heart aches for those that are out there and those of you that do have children in the school districts, because you really need to be an advocate. You really need to be paying attention to what is being taught and what is being spoken to these kids. These kids, this is when they're most impressionable, and man, they're just being fed. So, it's sad, but we have control over our children right now, and we need to maintain that control and make sure we maintain that control. So, be an advocate for your kids, pay attention to what's transpiring with your kids, and communicate with them, talk with them, and, truly express right from wrong, and keep God in their lives. I can't express that enough. That's important. So this one is called Walk, Don't Run, and it's Micah 6:8. Walk humbly with your God. I'd see her welcoming the dawn each day. She was our local power walker. As I drove my kids to school, she'd be there on the road's shoulder, equipped with an oversized pair of headphones and knee-high, colorful socks. She walked with an alternating movement of arms and feet, always with one foot in contact with the ground. The sport is different from running or jogging. Power walking involves an intentional restraint, a reining in of the body's natural inclination to run. Although it doesn't look like it, there's just as much energy, focus, and power involved as in running or jogging, but it's under control. Power under control, that's the key. Biblical humility, like power walking, is often viewed as weakness. The truth is, it's not. Humility isn't diminishing our strengths or our abilities, but rather allowing them to be reined in, much like the arms and legs and feet guided by the mind of an early morning power walker. Micah's words, walk humbly, are a call for us to rein in our inclination to go ahead of God. He says to act justly and to love mercy, and that can bring with it a desire to do something and do it fast. That's fair, since the daily injustices in our world are so overwhelming, but we are to be controlled and directed by God. Our goal is to see His will and purposes accomplished in the dawning of His kingdom here on earth. So what really makes me think there is that, our time spent in the morning with Him enables us to really know what we are to do day to day. And it keeps us walking in His will. It keeps us intentional, and it keeps us grounded, and it keeps us humble. And I think it's just really important for us to realize that there is a lot of injustice in our world. There is a lot of sad things happening in our world, and it's very easy to get caught in that. But we've got so many promises, like I read to you guys on Tuesday. I really love that piece that I read to you guys on Tuesday. I'm actually half tempted to read it again. That was just really amazing. But the thing is we need to keep our eyes on Him. That is the answer to everything. And Micah 6:8 says it, walk humbly with our God. Let me just see here real quick if I can pull this up. Hang on, guys. Okay, yeah, it's this one. So just real quick, I'm going to read this because it's really worth the read again. Facing the darkness. Isaiah 9:2, the people walking in darkness have seen a great light. In the mid-1960s, two people participated in research on the effects of darkness on the human psyche. They entered separate caves while researchers tracked their eating and sleeping habits. One remained in total darkness for 88 days, the other 126 days. Each guessed how long they could remain in darkness and were off by months. One took what he thought was a short nap, only to discover he'd slept for 30 hours. Darkness is disorienting, and that's what the enemy wants. Remember that the darkness in our world is the enemy, and that's where he wants us, totally in a disheveled state. The people of God found themselves in the darkness of impending exile. They waited, unsure of what would take place. The prophet Isaiah used darkness as a metaphor for their disorientation and as a way of speaking about God's judgment. Previously, the Egyptians had been visited with darkness as a plague. Now Israel found herself in darkness. But a light would come. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. Oppression would be broken. Disorientation would end. A child would come to change everything and bring about a new day, a day of forgiveness and freedom. Jesus did come, and although the darkness of the world can be disorienting, may we experience the comfort of the forgiveness, freedom, and light found in Christ. So I'm going to keep hitting that home, guys, because that's where our focus needs to be. We need to look around. We need to know what's happening. We need to be aware, but we also need to protect ourselves and pray that hedge of protection over ourselves to not be affected and to be able to see God's grace and mercy and just his amazing miracles and promises in our lives. So keep that in the forefront, and don't forget to spend I've challenged you this year, 5 minutes every morning or every day, whenever it suits you. 5 minutes of prayer time and reading his word, and it doesn't hurt to do a gratitude and prayer journal along the way, because that is really freeing when you're able to record those things and look back on them. But it's just very therapeutic. The whole thing is very therapeutic. And as I shared with you, when you start with 5 minutes, I guarantee you the results you will see will urge you to spend more than 5 minutes a day. When you take that time, it's time invested in your life, in your relationship, in your day, in the wholesomeness of your experience of your day-to-day. So don't lose sight of that, and don't forget about that aspect of things. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you guys today. I hope that fed you some, and I hope that it keeps you in a good place till we meet again on Monday. Monday is the standard time, 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, here on YouTube Live. And we have Bible study tonight. If anyone is interested in joining us, you can go to TrayerWilderness.com/Bible Study Book Club and join us. We are working right now out of the book called Boundaries, which you can find by going to TrayerWilderness.com/Boundaries. So far this year, we have gone through Fervent, which is a fabulous book by Priscilla Shirer. And we did When You've Been Wronged, going from, I just totally lost the rest of the title of the book, but you can find Fervent by going to TrayerWilderness.com/Fervent, and Wronged is TrayerWilderness.com/Wronged. And then we did We Will Not Be Silenced, which you can find the same way. And currently we are doing Boundaries. I feel that those are all foundational books to help us really get to a good place as Christians, as individuals. Prayer is our most powerful weapon and tool. So understanding prayer and how simple it is, and being in fervent prayer constantly. I pray throughout the day, every day. I talk to God throughout the day, every day. It's just part of who I am in my walk. But it's a fabulous book. And then Wronged is about forgiveness. and is an extremely powerful, powerful book. The best book I've ever read on forgiveness. And it walks you through the different aspects of it. And the importance of it is that if you have someone that has wronged you and you have not forgiven them, you are not hurting them, you're hurting yourself, because you will remain in a place of being stuck and you will not thrive. You end up in a place of resentment and bitterness, and it is a terrible downward cycle, and you don't even realize you're in it. So by learning to forgive others, you're actually creating so much more wholesomeness in your life and releasing yourself. So I really encourage those books as really great foundational reads. The We Will Not Be Silenced was, I felt, important because of our current times, and a very good eye-opener, and important for us to know what we are walking out, but also how to walk it out. And then also, the boundaries is really important, because most of us walk around as being yes, yes people. We yes to everything because we are people pleasers and we want to please people, and we don't know how to, and we're not raised in a means of understanding what boundaries are and how important they are and how they're not selfish. They're safe. They're safety nets, and it's what helps keep us healthy and the best we can be. So they are books that I feel are essential to growth in our walk and to get us to a place where we can really thrive and move forward in our walk in life as well as our faith walk. And that is important to me. So I'm really grateful to have the group of people that we have joining us weekly for the Bible study. They're very powerful. They're very inspiring and encouraging, because we really lift each other. Sometimes they're entertaining. Last Thursday was extremely entertaining. For quite some time, I added some humor, unexpected, unintentional humor to the beginning of our session last night, but that was good too, because belly laughs are important, right, Tammy? Oh, I keep wanting to hit the screen there, so I got to stop that. Deb says, so enjoying the Boundaries book and studying together. Yes, likewise. Tammy, Deb says, remember to hit the thumbs up button to help Tammy. Thank you. I really appreciate that. If you're new to following us, please subscribe. You can also click on the bell for notifications, and definitely like. And if you are feeling moved by these, please share them with your friends. The more people we can reach, the better. We not only share our faith-led walk, but we also share our homesteading and off-grid living journey, and try to educate on the skills that we use and why, and just helping people to prepare for unknown experiences. We've been preparing forward for the last 11 years, real wholeheartedly. We've been doing so in ways through our life, but the last 11 years we've been really wholehearted when we embarked on our off-grid journey. So we feel it's extremely important, even 11 years ago, to share that information, and now even more so. So thank you for sharing that, Miss Deb. And Tammy says, all books have been excellent, and Tammy Richards shares her laughing hysterically faces. Yes, it was very funny. I decided to do the Bible study from outside, and I lit a fire in the chimney. I had cleaned up the whole space. We use fat wood to start our fires, and I used a small piece of fat wood to start the fire, and I threw in some chunks that were cut off some of these logs that are in our home, and threw them in the fire. And there was a piece of wood out there that had aged over winter being out in the elements, and I grabbed that big hunk of wood and threw that in the fire too. And I'm sitting there talking to Tammy. We just started, and this big black plume of smoke comes out of the chimney behind me, and next thing, the mountain man's over fanning the fire with his rag. He was working on the truck, and it was pretty comical, because he was insinuating that Miss Tammy in Montana, a couple hours away, could probably see the black cloud to the west if she looked.
Sending her smoke signals.
He was sending her smoke signals, he says. It was quite something. Yes, it was very full of pitch. And the funny thing was, I went like this later in the night to scratch my face, and I looked down, and my fingernails, underneath my fingernails, were black. I was like covered in soot. It was so funny. Yeah, it was full pitch. And it was a piece about this round and probably about that long. So it burned for forever. It was amazing it didn't melt my cast iron chimney. Thank goodness it was cast, because anything else, it probably would have melted it. It was was hot. It was hot. And then what was funny is all that black soot and all that pitch, and it didn't keep the mosquitoes away. So I ended up having to go inside anyway. But Tammy and I were on initially, and Glenn, and we had quite the laugh. It was quite hysterical. I also had to move because things were getting so hot. I was nearing melting as well as the phone. So it created a really good comic relief for a while, a long while. Because he comes over and he says to me, "You must have put too much fat wood in." I'm like, "I only put a small piece. I lit the fire. It was all good to go." And then I went, "Oh no," because that big piece of wood that weathered was fat wood, but it had weathered enough that you couldn't see the resin where we had been chopping on it for last season. So anyway, it was funny. And it did burn up a big piece of fat wood, but we've got abundance of fat wood, so it's all good. So Deb says, "Yes, agree, Tammy. All the books and studies have been well worth the time spent and shared together. Awesome fellowship." And Deb says, "Fatwood being full is pitch." Yes, it's completely full of pitch. Yeah, so it was quite something, but fun and entertaining at the same time. So, and if you can't laugh at yourself, you may as well give up. We've got to learn to be humble and find humor in what's funny, you know. Just be lighthearted. So I am going to say a prayer and let you guys get back to your day. That way the mountain man can have a little peace, because doing what he's doing requires a little bit of brain thought. Okay, a whole lot of brain thought. He's rubbing his melon right now. So it's not like we can really separate ourselves here. So, and it's raining today. So guys, I'm really glad you joined today. Like I said, I hope this was something that touched you. I hope that this is stuff that is inspiring you in your walk, because our walk is the most important thing right now in just keeping ourselves on the right path, in the right direction, in the right mindset. It's so important. And guys, don't give up on your preparing aspects of things. We really, really need to be focusing on preparing forward, because there's a lot of uncertainty. So continue to do that. And we will definitely be talking more about that upcoming. And like I said, I'm working on my series, and I'm working on my gratitude prayer journal for you guys. So I'm going to say a prayer. Papa, just thank you for this day. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for these loving individuals, both live here and those watching the replay. We thank you for bringing us together and each being able to share our uniqueness in this community, and to really thrive, loving on one another, inspiring one another, sharing our knowledge, sharing what we've experienced. It's so important. It's so awesome to see people sharing their walks and their information and their transparency, you know, just being open and sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we just thank you that you're present, that you're working in each of us, that your word and your promises and your freedom are accessible to us all. And we just thank you for your forgiveness and your love, mercy, and grace. And we just lift all of the prayer requests to you. Please be with Bobbi. Just wrap your loving arms around her and give her the strength and endurance she needs to walk out this awful situation that has come her way. And we just ask that you be with Kelle, Mike, and Courtney as well, to give them comfort and peace and guidance and ways to help her. And we just ask that you be with Dianna and Craig, and just continue to wrap your healing arms around them. Same with Tammy and her family. Just wrap your arms around Tammy and help her heal. Just nurture her body and her mind. And just thank you for being present in both those surgeries and the healing already. And be with Diane and her daughters as they mourn the loss of their husband and father. And be with Pat Kenny. Just continue to give him a good visit and just touch and heal his body. Just thank you that he is a part of our lives, as is everyone else here. And I just ask that you be with Deb and Melissa and Laura and Toyka and Carol and her daughter Mariko. And I know there are other prayer requests, Papa, and I just ask that you know them, and just take over and do what needs to be done. Support them in what ways they need supported. And we just love you and thank you for all you do. Just keep everyone safe till Monday. Thank you that we can gather this way. Be with Jane too. She wasn't present today, so just be with her in her healing as well. Thank you for what you're doing for Austin. We just thank you in advance for the housing you're going to provide. And we love you for all you're going to do. And we ask all of this in your holy and precious name of Jesus. Amen. And be with Laura and her family with the loss of the dog today. So if I did forget anyone, please forgive me. I try to remember everything while I'm on here. And we just, so many praises today too. That's just tremendous. You know, we need to focus on those, focus on the good, and focus on what is positively happening in our lives, and also be responsible for creating the positivity. Oh my gosh, sorry. Fluffy was just sitting out in the bank, messing with his tail on his back, and he just flipped completely off the bank down onto the stones. Fluffy's the fuzzy gray cat. Sorry, that just looked hysterical. He was having a good time playing, and all of a sudden, all you saw was fur and him disappearing. Sorry. Anyway, so anyhow, guys, we love you all. I'm wishing you a fabulous weekend. Stay strong in your walk. Stay strong in your fellowship with God. Read his word. And if you struggle with reading his word and not understanding what you're reading, just pray that he guides you and helps you to understand it, because he will definitely do that. Praying for Sterling also with the graduation, and for you, Deb. So guys, take care. I love you all. And I'll see you folks from the Bible study this evening, and I will see the rest of you on Monday. You guys take care, and God bless.